What's more gorgeous than the city of Sydney? But what we have for you is a Ferrari key, the Ferrari 488 Pista, the review that you've all been waiting for. Let's get to it. This is the Ferrari 488 Pista. Pista means track. It is the track-going version of the Ferrari 488 road-going car. This is an absolute weapon. 720 horsepower, 717 Newton meters of torque, a V8 twin turbo, and by God, it's so gorgeous, especially in this spec. But for now, I'm gonna jump in and we're gonna take this car for a spin. Horsepower 488 Pista. This car is a track weapon. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in only 2.8 seconds, and the car actually fails to find traction coming out of those rear wheels. It has 717 Newton meters of torque, and what it means is it's a very torquey car, but all that torque doesn't come until you're in the 7th gear. So it takes all the way from 1st to 7th gear to get 707 Newton meters of torque, because they've held back all that torque because it kicks out its arse end and you can't hold it straight. It is that powerful, this car. The 305 tyres at the rear do not hold it down whatsoever. I can assure you it's a beast of a car. In comparison to the Aventador SVJ, this car is just so wild. You just don't understand the way it feels when you sit behind the seat, and it's a leisure to drive. It is so easy, it is so comfortable, and that's what I really like about this car. It's just the easiest car to sit back, drive as a daily, use it on the street, flick it over to sport mode, it quietens down a little bit. But like me, if you've got speed through your veins, you've got to have it in the race mode. Drop down a few gears, drive it in the manual. It also has an auto option, and just put your foot down. It just sounds fabulous with that V8 engine. The twin turbo setup, 720 horsepower. It's pretty amazing in itself. It does feel as quick as a McLaren 720S, but I'd say slightly quicker in my opinion. This car does a quarter mile in 10 seconds as well, like the McLaren 720S and like the Aventador SVJ, but I do admire the looks of the Ferrari and the comfort. So someone like me, 6'1", 250 pounds, I've got enough headspace here to sit comfortably. The seats hug me, they're not too small. These are the large seats, which are an option, and it feels fabulous. You've got a button here for bumpy road mode, which softens the suspension if you press it. So the suspension becomes a lot softer and smoother. What I would like is if Ferrari did release the Nürburgring lap times for this car, because I believe it feels really quick. If they had a professional driver behind the wheel, one of their test drivers, but I don't know. Like, everybody asks, is it quicker than the Aventador SVJ? It is. Believe me, it is. 0 to 100, it's just as quick, 2.8 seconds. 0 to 200, this is slightly quicker, 7.6 seconds. It's a fast car, and it pulls. It's got a lot of power, and what I keep saying to everybody is, can you imagine if they had all that torque come in a lot earlier, and you have maximum torque at 4,500 RPM across every gear? The tail will be kicking out. This will be a really tail happy car, and it'll be a fun car to drive. It'll be something more special, something more unique in a way that I reckon it'll be too quick. It wouldn't be able to put down traction onto the tarmac whatsoever. But I love the way Ferrari have, like, they've tuned this gearbox. The 7-speed gearbox is absolutely fabulous to drive. You can feel those gears every time you change, and I just love it. The downshifts are just amazing, and then you put your foot down and it just kicks back. It's awesome. And that beeping sound, that was a DRS deploying, so the rear spoiler activates and lifts up. That's so cool. I love how it has all the active aerodynamics in this car. It just makes it very, very special. It's a Ferrari, and at the end of the day, what more special than a Ferrari Pista, a limited edition models, a special model? You can't. It's undeniable. It is the best Ferrari that you can buy, and possibly the best sports car, supercar in the segment at the moment. And it is better to drive than the Aventador SVJ. It's just a lot more wild in the sense that it's tail happy. The SVJ is an all-wheel drive beast. The McLaren 720S likes to stick to the ground like glue. This thing here, they've activated some lunatic mode because the whole thing just goes insane. It just wants to kick out. It wants you as a driver to put your foot down. It's begging you to actually have fun with it. It teases you all the time, and the power is so sudden. It is a turbocharged car with no turbo lag. It's funny saying that because nobody would believe you, because every other car, McLaren 720S and the Porsche GT2 RS, they have turbo lag. This feels very, very different, and it still feels planted. Even though it likes to kick out its tail, it still feels like a true Ferrari and like a true race car, because after all, they built this for the track, not for the street. Do I love it? Yes, I do. This to me is ranked right up here. It is number 1 on the list. Second, I'd say the Aventador SVJ, followed by the Porsche GT2 RS, then the McLaren 720S. There you have it. That's my answer. With the new improved aerodynamics, we have 50% more downforce when compared to the regular Ferrari 488. So we've got an all new S duct here in the front end. So air flows straight through the bottom here, through this gap, gives us extra downforce on the front. Then the air flows straight over the roof and into the new DRS designed rear spoiler setup. And there's a gap down here so the air comes straight out. This car has active aerodynamics, so they're constantly working within milliseconds. And this car is simply mind-boggling. It's a proper track beast. It's a car designed to take it out to the track. So we've got 20-inch wheels at the rear, 20-inch wheels at the front, 6-piston brakes at the front, 4 pistons at the rear, wrapped with 305 rear Michelin tires. This car is absolutely phenomenal. It's a beast to drive. It's actually one of the most gorgeous Ferraris to date. It's possibly my favorite road-going Ferrari released thus far. This rear end is F1 inspired. We have a completely carbon fiber rear bar with the F1 inspired stoplight here at the bottom. We've got the center exhaust and a carbon fiber rear bar with a little gap for the DRS system to deploy, and the air flows straight through as you drive out of this gap here. Now over to the interior, we are met with a very plain setup. So we've just got the straight dashboard. All your driver aids are right here facing the driver, not the passenger. We do have carbon fiber on the steering wheel, carbon fiber on the dashboard trim, which are optional. That we've got a tricolore stripe on the steering wheel. We've got the tricolore colors on the buttons and the tricolore stripe on the seat. These are all options. It's also completely option with the carbon fiber package, and something that you don't really need is a JBL audio system. That box had to be ticked. And now your favorite bit, the V8 engine, twin turbo, carbon fiber, absolutely gorgeous engine bay. This thing is mind-boggling. 3.9 litre, V8 twin turbo. Yep, you heard that correct. It's not a V6 twin turbo, it's a V8 twin turbo.